The mysteries of social media advertising, pay-per-click, search engine optimization. Oh my. Our guest today, RJ Huebert, is here to talk about those crazy topics and why you, as an entrepreneur or business leader, need to know what they are all about. RJ, he's the guy with that pit hat on. You cannot miss him. How you doing today?
Chuck, thank you so much for having me on the HR and Leadership Spotlight show. It's a pleasure to finally connect with you on this. I've been seeing it everywhere on LinkedIn. It was like, I have to be a part of it. It's blowing up. Thank you so much.
It's exploding. It's out of control. It's out of control. I'm a social media star myself now. All right. So RJ, before we get into all those crazy terms and we explain what they are, I know you're the founder and managing principal at HBT Consulting, digital consulting, but did you bring anything for us today?
You know what? I was digging around and I found this little guy.
Okay. I love that. I love that. Smiley face cup. Tell me about that.
You know what? I wanted to start my day bright, happy, excited. You know, you lead with positivity, and you put your mind frame right, and you can, do great things.
I love that. And I love that cup. That's a keeper. That's a real
That's
keeper.
right.
And so RJ, tell us about your journey. We're going to get into all the things that you do right now and why they're so important for business owners and leaders. And you used a term earlier today off camera, solopreneurs, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to talk about that, but let's talk about you first. And let's hear about your journey, who you are and how you got to where you are today.
Sure. Pittsburgh is my city. Have to represent that. I went to University of Pittsburgh. Grew up in Pennsylvania. Lived in Tampa 10 years. Met my now wife. Have a couple dogs. That's the fun stuff. But for business purposes, I've been a marketing guy. That was my journey. 10 years corporate marketing. Worked in an ad agency for a bit, and thought, you know what? I've worked at different firms. I've quote unquote been there, done that, and I thought, you know what? Now's the time. I'm going to start my own digital marketing agency. And you mentioned solopreneur. That's exactly what I am. I am a team of one that handles all the projects for my clients, and I outsource where necessary. I have a video production partner. If we need the amazing videos, I work with Pixel Lab Studios in Pittsburgh. They do the best video creation and content editing in the city. Also, a branding company called FRW Studios based in Ohio. And they do the best graphics and web design that you can imagine. So I have strategic partners where necessary.
Okay. So talk to me about the thought process. So you're telling me you went from a relatively stable job, right? People say, why do you jump out of a perfectly good airplane? They say that to skydivers. Why do you jump out of a perfectly good airplane? Why did you jump out of a perfectly good job and company?
Sure. Well, for a lot of reasons. One being, I was always building someone else's business. And I was putting all this effort and time in, and that's great. That's what they hired me for. But I thought, you know what? If I can do this for somebody else and connect the puzzle pieces, I can probably do it for myself. What helped was, Chuck, I actually had, during my corporate life, I always had, a few clients on the side that I would work on at night, and I would knock out these digital marketing projects for them. So I knew I could generate revenue on my own. I knew I could find these clients myself and do the projects and retain clients. And I was like, look, I can do this. It can be a lot more lucrative than working for somebody else, and I would own it and control it.
Okay. So obviously you jumped out of that perfectly good airplane for the opportunity and for the thrill, correct? I mean, it's fun to own your own business.
Yeah, it is. Well, fun.
and a
There's a
little
lot of
dangerous.
restless nights,
Yeah.
a lot of stress. Don't get me wrong. But this was actually my second venture. My first, which is still ongoing, which was and still is successful until the COVID hit. It was an events-based business. I was putting on 5K races in the Tampa Bay and Sarasota area. I have a partner with that, Claire Celius, and one is a Mother's Day race, one is a Father's Day race, and one is called the Great Gay 5K, which celebrates the LGBT plus community. So we've been doing this for 10 years, thousands of participants, for-profit venture, and that was going great. And I was like, look, you know what? It's not completely cold water. Oh, let's
Right.
be honest. I've been treading for a while.
No, that's fine. You've been paving the way. And I have to tell you, for myself, I was in HR for a number of years, HR director for many years. When I decided that I wanted to go out on my own, it was a long-term plan. You had to lay a lot of groundwork, I would say. When you do these things, the more preparation you can make, the better down the line. So,
For
of
sure.
course, we could have never prepared for COVID-19 as we're recording this, but I
That's
think
right.
we're making the best of it and moving forward, and we'll be better positioned when we get through to the other side, I believe.
Yeah, I believe so too. And um, you know, you did mention COVID. Well, I'm glad that I started my business early 2019 because I was really, laying the foundation for helping businesses start promoting themselves online through digital marketing tactics. And I had a really great foundation instead of kind of shuffling papers and trying to do things once that COVID hit. Like I was already established. I had a track record. I have a portfolio. I have, case studies. And, that was, really great to have. So long story short, start now, whatever you want to do, start it on the side, build that up because you never know when you might really need to pivot.
There you go. There's a great piece of advice, budding solopreneurs and entrepreneurs. So we used some really big, scary terms at the beginning of this interview. And you talk about, and I'm reading your bio here, that you're an expert with lead generation for small to medium-sized businesses. So can you break all of that down? Lead generation, pay-per-click, social media advertising, and search search engine optimization.
That's right.
Blah, blah, blah. So break some of that down for someone that doesn't understand what that is
Yeah.
and why it would benefit them to know those terms.
Sure. Well, as if you are a small to medium-sized business, maybe your revenue is, we're looking for probably you're making your gross revenue at least 250,000 to 5 million. You may not know the best place to put your emphasis or your time, your energy, your money. So, working with a professional, we can lay out your goals, your audience, what you want to accomplish. And then we can take a look at what marketing channels are available. And it doesn't have to be this big, scary thing. Part of the reason why companies work with a digital marketing agency or a specialist is because they have that experience and they can provide the correct recommendation instead of maybe jumping into everything all at once, which can be scary. You can pick and choose the most important channels. And specifically, if you're kind of just getting started, you may want to focus, on your website, your SEO, and social media. Get that. I have a digital marketing roadmap that I share with businesses, and basically, it's my methodology. It's like, how do you think about where to go in your digital marketing? So, if you're just starting out, I call it securing the basics. Make sure your website is optimized for mobile. We call that in the industry responsive design. make sure the SEO and your tags are good on your website. What that is, meta tags. It's writing a description about what each page is. And then when Google crawls your site, it pulls that information and puts that on your Google search report. So yeah, that's the place to start, getting your social media going. And then you just take off from there. I don't suggest to companies immediately start advertising when their website is terrible, when they have no social media presence. Because Chuck, where's the first place you go when you want to find out about a business or a person?
The Yellow Pages. It's a big, thick book.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
and it's in alphabetical order, right?
Yeah, maybe 20 years ago.
I better get with it then.
You're going to go to somebody's website, right? You're going to
Yes.
Google them.
I'm going to Google them. That's what we say. Google them. Google them.
You know how many web pages and businesses I still see that aren't responsive, that look terrible, that load very slowly? So many. And we're talking, this is easy stuff. This is not complicated to update. I want those businesses to reach out to me because I can get them up and running fast with a responsive design in no time and with not much money. So it's not overwhelming. Once what can be really overwhelming for businesses is your pay-per-click advertising. Because on Google, there's just so much information. There's just so many moving parts. You really have to work with a specialist or somebody that's been there and done that to launch successful campaigns.
All right. So why don't you, for our listeners, talk about what is that? What does that mean, pay-per-click advertising?
Yeah, I'll break that down really easily. So on Google, there's the search bar, and you create search campaigns. So that's somebody who types in with a specific thought in their head. We call that high intent. They might search lawyer near me, bankruptcy lawyer. They might search, I need an eye doctor. So you basically buy that keyword, you create an ad, and then whenever somebody types in, I need an eye doctor, boom, your ad comes up. And it comes up right below that search bar. It comes up above the organic results. So it can be high, visibility. It's right there. People with high intent, they want your business, and you want to bid on that keyword because you want your business to show up first. There's a lot of things to take into consideration, though. It's not necessarily easy to launch that. You want to take into consideration what locations are you targeting. You can target specific audiences. When I say audiences, these could be people, they call it in market. They're in market for an eye doctor. They're in market for a lawyer. You can target based on age, demographic information. You can even, what I love and what people don't think about when they're just starting out, it's called negative keywords.
Oh.
So you put in things that you don't want to show up that people are searching for. So for example, if you put in like, I need a lawyer, you want to put in negative free because you don't want people, clicking on like free. That's not really going to drive good business to you. Like study, course, job. That's what the PPC specialist does. They take a look at the keywords that people are searching for, and you want to provide them the best result for that search.
So I got it. So I'm an attorney, I'm a lawyer, or I'm just a regular, person out here, and I'm going to search for a free lawyer advice.
Mm-hmm.
And I might put that in my search. You're saying the attorney on the other side might have already bought lawyer advice or attorney advice.
Yep.
But they certainly don't want anyone and to waste their money on people that are clicking on their ad if they're searching for the word free.
And depending on the industry, that click could be very expensive. So for example, in some industries, like my 5K races, it's a cheap click. Not many race companies are buying those key terms. So those keywords. So that click could be 50 cents to $1. It's nothing. And they have high intent. They want to sign up for a race. Boom, show them my ad. But for lawyers, there's a lawyer on every block, right? There's a lot of competition. if there's a accident, that keyword, accident attorney, is going to be probably 15 to, depending on the situation, $90 a click.
Wow.
So you need to be careful. One thing that's really cool, Chuck, is this thing. It's called the search term report. So you can see for everybody that clicked on your ad, the exact search term or search phrase that they were looking for. So basically a PPC specialist like me, that we're going to look at those search terms on a daily basis. And if we don't have great search terms coming in, we're going to put that on the negative list because we don't like those.
Mm-hmm.
When we're adding keywords that are like producing great volume, great conversions, we're bidding extra percentages of our budget based on the best phrases and keywords. It's pretty technical. So that's why you need somebody who can get in there and look at it every day.
Yeah, no, it sounds like you have a great passion for it.
It's fun. You have to love analytics. You have to love, it's not creative, right? I'm not creating TV advertisements.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not creating your newspaper ad, but I am providing a valuable service to a lot of companies.
Right. So there's marketing and there's digital marketing.
And Chuck, that search ad is one component. There's display ads, YouTube ads, product shopping ads. The list goes on. If you sell black socks, that could be a good product shopping ads where somebody's searching, I want black socks. Your image and your black socks could show up and boom, they go click, go to your site and buy. It's pretty cool.
Wow. So I'm an HR consultant.
Mm-hmm.
I specialize in helping businesses maybe architect, and that's not a common word, but architect their HR department. I could do leadership training. I could do communication training. I can do compliance training, which is a specialty of mine. Is there a way that I can find out who's searching, if anyone's even searching for those terms?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's called Keyword Planner. And basically, you can pick your locations and you can put in a bunch of the search terms that you're interested in. Like, I need an HR department.
Okay.
I need an HR leader. And you can find out the exact keywords people are searching for and the search terms and, understand the volume. That's what you're concerned about, the search volume.
Yeah.
And you can build a whole campaign around that.
Wow. So you actually go into, you don't actually design the websites, but you can go in and you can fix the websites. Is that?
I do design websites too.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. So, having a mobile optimized site is important. But, if you need somebody to like spruce it up or, improve page quality, things like that, meta descriptions, I can do that.
Cool. So I know you've talked about, you're specializing in lead generation, right? And so that's what pay-per-click is, right? Is there any?
Yeah. Social media advertising is a big part of that too. So when I say lead generation, it's just bringing customers and potential clients to the business, getting people interested. It's like B2C basically. So social media advertising is a big part. Facebook ads, Instagram ads, what's cool, LinkedIn ads, because you can target by company, education, job title, seniority. You can target so many different levels. It's crazy.
Yeah, I can imagine. I know LinkedIn's free for most of us, but they pay for that in another way. And and
they make their money.
Sure. So you specialize in working with law firms, right? Did I hear you say that? Law firms. Yeah. And also, I'm reading here, manufacturing and non-profits. Can you talk to us a little bit about that, about the types of companies that you're working for, and maybe any success stories overall that you can just think of off the top of your head?
Yeah, well, I want to give a shout out to Wendower Law. They are in Philadelphia, Lancaster, and Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. He focuses on real estate and business law. So we've seen a lot of success on Google Ads just through optimizations, sending people that are searching for, like, I need a contract lawyer, I'm starting up a business, in any real estate terms like zoning, laws, or contracts. Just getting new clients to him has been really successful. So also for nonprofits, there's this thing called the Google Ad Grant. Google gives nonprofits $10,000 free advertising a month. Any nonprofit can apply for it. They do not cut you a check for $10,000 and say, Chuck, go have fun. Go to your favorite restaurant. No, they just give you free ads. But a lot of nonprofits, they need help managing their, Google ad, because if you don't maintain a certain click-through rate, you actually lose the grant. So you need to have really great ads.
Right. So I would say that sounds like a pretty complicated process, but you can help someone navigate that, correct?
Absolutely. And another thing I've been doing in the industry, it's called white labeling, where I work with a couple agencies and they have their specializations. And then if they have a need for somebody to handle the pay-per-click advertising or social media advertising for their clients, they send it my way. I do the work. They pass it off as if it's their own.
Right. Now, let me ask you a serious question. If the business owner is a Penn Stater, do you wear the Pitt hat?
Yeah, I wear Pitt on my sleeve.
Okay.
They have to know. They have to know who they're dealing with. And Chuck, you know this as an HR guy. You want to know the person you're working with, right? You don't want them to be fake and phony.
Right. Absolutely. And by the way, I went to Penn State, so that's why folks were having this little fun banter.
Hey, you know what? I'm a little disappointed the Big Ten, canceled the football season, but
yeah, and that's a subject for another show. That's okay. For another show. But RJ, we're coming up on our time. Is there anything that I've missed or anything else you want to share with the audience today?
No, I love listening to your show on LinkedIn, just to get an idea of things to think about from an HR perspective, because I will be hiring in the near future. And it's interesting to think about. I don't know if you have maybe advice for me, but what I've been personally doing is if I come across trainings or important information, I save it in a separate document to share with a future employee. Also, I want to give a shout out to GTE Financial in Florida. I had this amazing boss and marketing team, and they had this training development within the department about whenever a new hire comes in, we had this presentation that we would give. One that really sticks out in my mind, the phrase was, "Don't tarnish the pot." And what that really means for people is, you don't want to rub people the wrong way or do a bad presentation or mess up a project. Stuff happens, but basically you don't want to get off on the wrong foot, because then your pot becomes black and it's very hard to clean and make it shiny again and make everything right. So I'm just thinking about little things like that as I hire in the future.
Yeah, no, I think it's important to remember those things, because we're all the product of the sum of our experiences. And if you can take the most impactful, the most important, the most helpful, the most positive phrases and experiences and remember them and then embed them into your own cultural outpouring, so to speak, as far as who you are, that's the way to go. So it sounds like you're on track for that. Tell me, RJ, with your business, if someone wanted to get hold of you, how would they do so? I know we'll have some information in the meeting notes below, but when they do, I know you had a special offer for our listeners today.
Yeah, well, first, visit my website. It's HB, as in boy, hbtdigital.com. My social media handles are HBT Digital Consulting on Facebook and Instagram. You know what? I would love to offer your listeners, whoever views this, a free 30-minute consultation. Tell me about your business, your goals. I'll give you some advice, things I would try, things that would make sense for your business. And then if they decide they want to, partner with me, I'll offer them a 50% off the account management fee for the first month.
That's awesome. You heard that, folks. There's a link below. You want to click on that, get with RJ, tell him you heard about him on the HR and Leadership Spotlight Show. RJ, thank you for coming on the show today. It was awesome.
Thanks, Chuck. I really appreciate what you're doing. You're providing a lot of valuable information to everybody. And you are a guy to know. So I'm going to tell everybody about your show, about you. They need to connect with you, especially.
Yeah, well, that's awesome because I like to help business owners. I like to help HR leaders. Folks, if you're a business owner and you're looking for more exposure, maybe you have a product that appeals to HR professionals or leadership professionals. And I know it's frustrating at times getting that message out. Well, we can help. We can help on the HR Leadership Spotlight Show. If you would like to sponsor a show, come on the show. We would love to have you. Once again, information below in the show notes. And that's it for this week. RJ, thank you. Everyone
All right.
else,
Have a great day.
awesome. Everyone else, thank you for watching. Until next time, we'll see you then.